All right, so for the last few weeks, we've been celebrating Broadway with our segment called Drama Queens. Why? Because I love drama and I'm a queen. Joining us on the couch today is three-time Tony Award nominee Brandon Uranowitz. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hey, Queen.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Queen. I'm
Hey,
so
Queen.
excited to talk to you.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, okay, so congratulations on your third Tony nomination.
Thanks,
for
hon.
this.
Thanks.
How does it feel when it's like third time around? Are you still excited?
It's still stunning.
Okay.
Like, truly.
Yeah. Do you have any
because the
rituals,
thing,
or?
well, for when I get nominated for
Maybe, I don't know.
yeah, I've got this routine. I don't know. It's, the thing is it's like, it's not like a 9-to-5 job every day. You know what I mean? So it's not like getting employee of the month for doing the same thing. It's like a new project every time. So just to know that your work in this new project, doing something new and different, gets recognized is always thrilling and exciting.
You're kind of always starting over.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
For people who haven't seen you in Burn This yet, how would you describe the show?
I mean, at its core, Burn This is just about 4 people sort of coping with the death of someone very close to them, and how that like vulnerable state just kind of opens you up to new possibilities, closes you off to others, and like, it forces us to all look inward and find out what's important to us and who's important to us. And it's really just about those 4 people communicating with each other and trying to live their best lives, I guess.
While all that is also...
While all of that is circling around them, yeah.
I was gonna say, it's got a little heat. Not just from the name. I'll tell you, I was walking down there's fire. I was walking down the street and I saw the posters of Keri, Russell, and Adam Driver.
Yeah, it's like,
oh.
yeah. You sweat a little.
What's it like bringing that aspect of the play to life?
Well, what I love about that is that's sort of what you think you're going into, and it's definitely there. But I think the actual experience of the show surprises people. It's really funny. You will belly laugh, even though there's all of this like sensual heat happening on stage between Keri Russell and Adam Driver, which is like not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah. But it's really funny, and my character is like, this flouncy gay guy who just sort of runs around and makes people feel better and makes them laugh.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you said you relate to your character. Is that
very much?
I mean, you're pretty funny. You made me feel better when you walked out this morning.
Thank you.
Was that your entry point to the character?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like my entry point into the world. Really, is like the humor, I guess.
I love that.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but like as a gay man growing up at a certain time, it's probably different now, which is beautiful and wonderful because we made a lot of progress. But being in the closet and growing up having to sort of put on this false facade in order to get people to acknowledge and like me, I used humor as a way of, as my way in to people and to relationships. And that's sort of like my suit of armor that I would put on every day to go to high school just to like survive. And that's sort of what this character does, to deal with the grief of losing his friend. But also, the play takes place in the 80s. And while we don't explicitly address the AIDS epidemic, it's just sort of like an undercurrent sort of riding through the whole play. And so my character is also coping with that as well, just like his community is just sort of disappearing around him. So he uses humor as a means of survival and as a means of protection, and that is certainly something that I can relate to. Because on the surface it can feel like superficial and just funny for funny's sake, but it's really kind of grounded in something a little bit darker, which is absolutely fun to play.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree. I mean, I think of the humor, I think camp, I think the fabulousness or shade, all of those in some ways I think often come from queer people finding, how do I find a way in? How do I become a part of the social space?
How do I get people to acknowledge my existence beyond beyond just my sexual orientation.
Totally. How do I humanize myself?
Right.
All these dishumanization. I also wanted to ask you, even recently we still see, and they're of course very talented and doing wonderful performances, but straight actors winning Tonys for playing gay characters when...
and Oscars.
Yeah, and Oscars. Hello. And there's certainly no shortage of queer people in Hollywood, but certainly not in the theater, who could play these roles. How do you feel about that? I'm sure it's complicated.
It is complicated because I would love to get to a place where truly the best person for the role, whoever walks into that audition room or, puts themselves on tape or whatever, the best person for the role who can most convincingly tell that story should get the job. I think that's a place that we should get to eventually. But the balance is so tipped the other way now that, I do think queer youth do not see enough of themselves playing themselves in show business. And so until we get an equal opportunity to be like productive members of society and productive members of show business, and until the scales are balanced, I think we need to give queer people the opportunity to tell their own stories. Because again, it is like a hot button issue, I think. And also, I don't know. I do feel that we as queer people, can tell our own stories.
Absolutely. And also, there's something about theater, which, for so many of us, like you were saying, like humor being our kind of entry point when we're trying to find our way into the world, especially when we're younger. Theater, for a lot of us, myself included, was like that as well when I was younger. And so it's always been, I guess, the persistence of homophobia in theater has always been a bit odd to me, given that theater is often stereotyped as being,
there's definitely more of it, I think, in Hollywood than there is in theater. And
so we're more likely to see queer characters played by gay people or queer people on screen.
No, but by straight people on screen.
Okay, got it.
Than we are in theater. But it's all money driven, I think, is the problem. And especially in Hollywood, I do feel like, and especially with the transparency of social media and everything now, like back in the day, actors were sort of these mysterious creatures, and we didn't really know a lot about their own personal lives. So it didn't
quite figure into the
it didn't fit into the equation. But now that we know that certain actors are out and living their truth and gay, it affects their numbers. It affects the spectatorship. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, I wish that the scales were a little more balanced, and that we weren't so scared of losing money because of it just acknowledges the homophobia within the country, I think. And that's something that Hollywood and Broadway, we need to stand up to and say, we're here and we're proud, and it doesn't really matter. And like, we're going to tell authentic, truthful, honest stories. I love that. And that's the most important thing. Yeah.
I hope we get there.
I hope so, too.
Well, I also wanted, before I let you go, I also wanted to talk to you about my new favorite show, Fosse Verdon.
Yes, girl.
Now, I got to watch it with Lin-Manuel last week on his little couch. He has people on his couch. It's a very comfortable couch.
I'm sure.
And I've just been living watching Gwen eat the seat. It's really expensive. Gwen go off, but you're going to be playing Dustin Hoffman.
Yes.
Oscar winner, Tony winner. What's that like?
It was...
That's pretty cool.
Honestly, I was so scared of it, I almost didn't go into the audition.
What were you scared of?
Well, it was because it's Dustin Hoffman playing someone else. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, so I'm just going to say it's Dustin Hoffman.
Right, they've hinted at.
Yeah. It's Dustin Hoffman playing somebody else, so it's just like layers upon layers upon layers.
Okay.
And they gave me the audition like less than 12 hours in advance, so I was like, I don't know how to find all these layers, but I challenged myself, and I was like,
clearly you did.
And it worked out. But it was fascinating. And what I loved about it, being on set doing that, was that I brought the, like, you know, all the Dustin Hoffman mannerisms and all of the things that I could see him doing in the movie that I'm trying to portray. But the director let me do a few takes of, like, my own interpretation of it. So I'm curious to see what they use.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I don't know.
I love it.
I don't know. We'll see.
You're right, because it's Dustin Hoffman. I imagine, like, behind the scenes when he's just hanging out, but also on set, you know.
No. It's just him on set. So it's him playing a character. So I'm playing Dustin Hoffman playing a character.
I'm stressed and it's already happened. Like,
yeah. I'm starting to sweat right now.
Oh my gosh,
and
I'm
it's
so
already
excited.
done. You know what I mean?
I love it. Well, I'm excited to see you on
Thanks,
Foxy.
Boo.
It's been so good. And I'm excited for everyone to see you at the Tonys.
Oh my God.
Hopefully some good
I hope
news.
I look cute.
Okay, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
We'll
You're
see.
surfing this purple royalty moment, and
Thank
I'm
you,
living
girl.
for it. I love
Thanks.
it. And of course, everyone should see you in Burn This.
Yes, please come see Burn This. It's
You
great.
can catch him and Burn This at the Hudson Theater until July 14th. And you better get it, because listen, when these shows are nominated for the Tonys, the tickets kind of get, you know, a little intense.
Yep,
So you have to cut somebody for your ticket, but it's worth it. Next week, we continue our celebration of the Tonys with 2 nominees from To Kill a Mockingbird.